4, 5. No.
Hey, get back over here. Today we're going to be making a banana mocha cake. Ooh, what do you think about that?
Sounds like a matcha latte.
So the banana mocha cake goes together really quickly in one bowl. You bake it in a 9 by 13 inch pan for 30 minutes and you've got cake. It's delicious. Okay, the things that you'll need for this, we need 3 ripe bananas. We need 1.5 cups of brown sugar. You need 1.5 cups of strongly brewed coffee. So you'll want to brew your coffee and then let it sit out a little bit.
So you're gonna have coffee and a cake.
Correct, that's the mocha part.
Matcha latte.
So you'll want your coffee to cool slightly. You'll also need either 1 cup of oil, or because you haven't been eating the healthiest lately, we're going to substitute that 1 cup of oil for unsweetened applesauce. That is a substitute for this. You need 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of salt, and 2 3/4 cup of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and 1 cup of chocolate chips for the topping. You don't even need a frosting for this because the chocolate chips are going to act as our frosting.
I want to add in salt.
Okay. The salt.
Are we going to mush bananas?
We're going to mush bananas.
I'm getting out of here. It's disgusting.
Why don't we want to mush bananas?
Because they're hard to mush and they look disgusting.
Well, if you take the peel off, you can't even tell. The riper your bananas, the more flavor you're going to have in your cake, so that's something you want to consider. You'll want to also set your oven to 350 degrees. Just mashing my bananas up quickly with a fork just to start that mashing process. I am going to use my hand mixer, but to get these mashed down before I start mixing, just take a fork, mash it down on a plate, and then we'll dump that into our bowl. So what you'll want to mix first, so that your sugar gets incorporated into something that is a little bit more of a wet ingredient, so you don't have that gritty taste, so the sugar can fully dissolve. We're going to mix our bananas and our brown sugar together first. So 1.5 cups of packed brown sugar. So this is a 1/2 cup measuring cup that I have here. So there's 1 cup and 1/2 of a cup. So 1.5 cups of brown sugar. No white sugar in this, just brown sugar. We'll mix this up with our hand mixer. So once you have your bananas and your brown sugar mixed together, you're going to add in your other wet ingredients. So that would be the coffee, the oil, the vanilla, and the apple cider vinegar. All right, we're going to add in our applesauce. Now, if you don't have unsweetened applesauce and you want to go for the full flavor effect, 1 cup of oil is what you'll want to put in here. I would put canola oil in for that, but that seems like a lot of oil to me. So we're going to try to make this just a little bit healthier. All right, we're also going to add in our 1.5 cups of coffee. Again, this is just strongly brewed coffee. Let it cool slightly before you put it in. And we'll need 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. This is not the sipping apple cider vinegar, it's just regular cooking apple cider vinegar. 2 tablespoons. Okay. And I'm going to add in the cinnamon and the salt too, so those get mixed in pretty well. Now that my teaspoon is all wet from vanilla, I'm going to use a 1/2 teaspoon, but put 2 of them in. You want 1 full teaspoon of cinnamon in this. And 1 teaspoon of salt as well. We'll get that mixed well together before we add the flour. You don't want to overmix your flour because that will make your cake kind of dense. So we'll need to make sure we get all of this mixed in well before we add our flour and our baking soda. Okay, so I'm just going to use my hand mixer to mix that together. All right, so we just mix that quickly together, and then we'll add in our flour and our baking soda. So we need 2 3/4 of a cup of flour. You want to sift your flour out into its container. There's 1, 2, 3/4 of a cup. And then we need 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Try this out. All right. And then we're just going to mix this until it's incorporated. Okay, so you're going to have not a very thick dough here. This will be pretty liquidy. You're going to get out a 9 by 13 inch pan. I'm just going to use this glass one. I am going to grease the pan. Notice that this cake does not have any eggs in it. So if you prefer not to eat eggs or you can eat eggs, this is one of those cakes. This is a pretty rare cake to not have eggs in. So you know, if that's something that you're sensitive to, this is a cake to give a try. All right, so we'll put it in our pan. The last step is to add 1 cup of chocolate chips to the top. So you can measure that if you want, or you can just sprinkle that over the top so that you've got chocolate chips covering the top of your cake. And we're going to bake this at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. So I'll come back here after I put the cake in the oven to show you the completed product. 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, we pulled the cake out and notice that it's starting to brown up on the sides. That's what you're looking for. If you want to do a quick test, you could put a toothpick down the center just to make sure that it comes out cleanly. But it looks like our cake is ready to go. So we're just going to let this sit out and cool for a little bit, and then it's good to eat.